This episode is brought to you by Credit Karma. When it comes to your money, Credit Karma keeps you ahead of the game. You can count on Credit Karma to keep up with your financial needs as they evolve, helping you monitor your progress and giving you personalized recommendations so you can make strides towards your goals. Make sure you're on the right track, no matter where you are on your financial journey. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on. Download today.
This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
All right. Good morning. Hello there, family. How are you? Welcome to Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormack, broadcasting to you from a frigid, freezing, flippin', good Lord, don't let me curse, so cold Midtown Manhattan, here all around the country, 7 minutes past the hour. And, the number is 1-800-848-9222. It's day 24. Day 24, this Saturday morning makes it 24 days that we are not talking about the Somali child care scandal in Minnesota. It was January 7th that Renee Good was shot and killed as she got in the way of federal authorities as they were trying to safely conduct business. She and her wife got in the way, and here we are today. In the interim, somebody else was shot a couple days ago, a week ago. but it's officially 24 days. And the Democrats got exactly what they wanted. The Democrats got exactly what they wanted. The left are absolutely they are into this. It's what they do. This is one of those times, this is one of those areas where myself and people like me, probably a lot of you, cannot even wrap our minds around what it's like to be into this. What is it? What is it like to be driven by so much hate? And it's misguided and it's all over the place. And what's it like to be, I mean, out of your mind and so deranged and so easily led down a path? These were sacrificial lambs. I mean, you go back and, you know, you go back to when it happened, to when Renee Good was shot. And there was the just vile and loathsome Jacob Fry with his, he reminds me of that, of those elves in Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I want to be a dentist. He looks like that. Is it Herbie or Hermie? Hermie wants to be a dentist. Now open up. That's what he looks like. He's got that like weird, perfectly wavy little hair like in the front of his face. It just, that countenance that he has. His face is both at the same time, it's aggressive and a victim at the same time. He's mastered this leftist look that encapsulates their very strategy. Aggressive, but also a victim. An aggressive victim. How's that? That's what Jacob Fry. So when Jacob Fry, within minutes of the Renee Good shooting, went out there on TV and called it murder and said, I've seen the video. I mean, like the exact thing that every proper leader, elected official, journalist, law enforcement, everybody stays away from jumping to conclusions based on like the first couple of videos that rip through social media. And this idiot was out there. I saw the video. It was not that. I'll have you know. And, I was making this point in a couple of different venues earlier in the week. For people who, that's not going out on a limb, and that's not making an assumption about the disgusting Jacob Fry. This is his MO. When he came out there and dismissed this as murder and did the same thing, a few weeks later with Pretty. What did he say? He said to the crowd, he said so disingenuously, so intellectually dishonestly, he goes, now let's stay calm. Let's stay cool. Let's not give them what they want, is what he said. Let's not give them what they want. Which is code for, let's go get what we want. If he had been really, really honest, if Jacob Fry had said his inside thoughts out loud, it would have been, let's go do what Minneapolis does. Let's go do what leftists do. Let's go out there and taunt and burn and shout. And let's go out there and follow orders. And let's go out there and get in their way. And let's go out there and get in their faces. And if any of you should happen to die, thank you in advance. And again, as I was starting to say, I made this comment on a couple of shows earlier in the week. If anybody has any doubt that that's exactly what Jacob Fry is all about, that Jacob Fry is not just perfectly content with these dead bodies. He's hoping for more. It's what fuels him. He absolutely agitates and is not about taking the air out of the balloon, but rather stretching it to its absolute limit until it explodes. Where's the proof? The proof is a few months ago when those beautiful Catholic children, those babies, when those beautiful Catholic children were shot and killed in a Minneapolis Catholic church. Isn't it amazing that we say a Minneapolis Catholic church? Isn't it amazing that there are like normal Catholics who practice their faith in Minneapolis? Isn't that weird? Doesn't it feel like we're talking about a place that's just a complete desert of true, actual faith? God, how lonely and outnumbered must those Catholics feel? How absolutely silent must their prayers feel? How do they have a real, regular Christian life in Minneapolis? Do they? Do the people who live in Minneapolis, are there normal parts of that city? I mean, I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in the Valley for 13, 15 years. And when I was in church and doing really normal things with the men's club and these prayer groups and having dinner with the Monsignor, like doing like real Catholic stuff, I was constantly aware of the fact that I was fascinated, that I couldn't believe that in this Sodom and Gomorrah of Los Angeles, in this heathen-filled, vile cesspool of usury, that this little oasis of faith and living right existed. So I wonder, how those Catholic people feel. I'm just thinking about the Catholic people at that church. Was it St. Anne's? What was the church? And anyway, there was Fry. I think on the steps of the church. I believe it could have been on the step, could have been City Hall. I forget. I just remember he was like sort of outside. I mean, God forgive him if it was actually the church. But he stood out there, and because there was already a rumbling that this was a trans activist who did the shooting and killed those Catholic babies in their pews, because it was a trans activist who killed those Catholic kids in a Catholic church in his heathen city, Jacob Fry, while the babies' bodies were still cooling, and forgive me for being gratuitous with that, but that's how you have to look at this scum. As those children's families were trying to find a way to inhale oxygen, while their family was silently screaming the torturous feelings they were feeling at the death of their children, this piece of garbage, Fry, was standing there talking about, let's not paint the whole trans community. This is not about We're not going to condemn. We're not going to talk about. We're going to come together and we're going to love. We're going to do what Minnesotans do. We're going to do what Minneapolisites, whatever the frig you call them. We're going to do what Minnesotans do. Vote for vile leftists? Well, yes, we'll do that eventually. But no, right now, we're going to come together in love. By love, of course, I mean, sit in judgment of the Catholic people and circle the wagons around the trans activists and trans leftist terrorists in our midst. And when, again, think about this. How big, how far-reaching, how, massive must this scandal be? Right on the heels. I mean, literally, right on the heels. Here's the heels. Here's the story. Here's the heels. Right on the heels of that last report of them looking into Ilhan Omar. Excuse me. Right on the heels of that report of them looking into Ilhan Omar and her massive wealth being earned in a cup of coffee. In the amount of time it takes to drink a financial cup of coffee, she's increased her portfolio, 30-fold. With whoever the husband, I don't know. And right on the heels, which, by the way, that was right on the heels of course, Nick Shirley and that massive video dump of all of those scandalous shell corporations for Somali childcare groups. Billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in fraud. We're going to take a break in a sec. Billions of dollars in fraud. So much so that the guy who was running for vice president of the United States an hour ago, only just lost as vice president, took himself out of his own incumbent governor's race. That's how bad it was. They got what they needed. They got the ultimate prize for leftists in trouble. They got dead people. And now, because those dead people, we are at 24 days not talking about Somali childcare scandals and a governor at the top of a pile of scandal and a congresswoman all in that state. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, oh my God, miracle of miracles, big, bad, thug Gestapos. And Bruce Springsteen is even singing songs about it. That is how much we have turned in 24 days, thanks to 2 dead bodies. And on that happy note, it's another side of midnight with me, TJ. And we shall return your calls on this 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222, another side of midnight from a frosty Manhattan.
All night long, this is another side of midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
I am so done. Right, dudes? This has just been one big fat advert. First of all, it's another chubby loving weekend. Don't be wasting your time with no skinny lovers. You got to get yourself a big fat chubby lover. Cuddle up nice. Just curl up in a roll of fat. 1-800-848-9222. It's a chubby lover weekend. 1-800-848-9222. And, of course, we're talking about Minneapolis, talking about, and like I said, we'll eventually get there, but, you know, and again, you guys can call about whatever you want, but, these Epstein files, once again, now, the Trump popped up in the latest dump, and the world went aflutter, and then it kind of went because the Trump references in this new 40 billion pages or whatever of Epstein files were allegations that were made, and correct me if I'm wrong, gang, and then dropped because they just didn't pursue it. I don't think it wasn't even like it was settled. It wasn't settled. They just stopped. They didn't pursue it. They didn't, the accuser or the whistleblower or whatever. I don't even know if it's an accuser. I don't know. But whoever it was that made the allegation eventually didn't show up for an interview, and it just went away. So, you know, sorry. Whereas the former Prince Andrew, Windsor Mountbatten, that's bad. You guys go, if you haven't seen it, go take a look on Google. Prince Andrew's got to be trending on Twitter. Go take a look at the photos. This photo with the redacted face is, in my mind, 1,000 times worse than the Virginia Dufresne photograph. 1,000 billion times worse. Somebody better keep an eye on Andrew over there in the UK. Keep an eye on him because he might pull an Epstein. This guy is done. He is so toast. 1-800-848-9222 and Dr. Anthony. Hey, Kesrich.
Hey, my man. Who's your biggest fan?
The lovely. Hold on. Wait. I'm having a senior moment. I was going to say Denise, but it's not Denise. Melissa.
You got it.
Yes, I'm sorry. Ooh, thank God. Thank God. Yes, the lovely Melissa. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
Fine, thank you. We just came back from Tampa, Florida.
Oh, no.
Where it was 38, 39 degrees.
Oof. All right.
The lizards were falling out of the trees.
Oh, that's right. They do that, don't they? That's creepy when that happens. I remember that used to happen. Yeah. So what do you think about, I was looking forward to getting to this, and I'm glad that you're, giving me the pivot to Don Lemon. What's your thoughts on Lemon there, Doc?
Well, he was arrested on January 29th, as you know, in Los Angeles while covering the Grammy Awards. But what he's involved was, prior to this, on January 18th, he was involved in an incident where he actually invaded a church service at St. Paul, Minnesota, him and other protesters, and it was a conspiracy against the pastor who happened to be also connected to ICE agents. So in either way, the man needs to be tried because everybody there's a trial, and needs to go to jail. Because without a doubt, press credentials does not allow you the freedom to actually break up a church service.
Nope.
He conspired. He conspired with other protesters to break up that affair. And children in that church were fearing for their parents' lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If oh God, I can only imagine the fear rocketing through those worshipers in the middle of all that tumult and fear and unrest in that city. And, and again, if he wanted to play it smart and safe and actually show respect, he could have, it was bad enough that he knew that it was going to go down, and it was bad enough that he was outside getting them all ginned up, ready to go inside. And he kept saying, if you notice his voiceover, he keeps repeating, "Now, I'm not one of the protesters. I'm just here covering this." He kept saying that verbally. I mean, how many times do you have to say that? He knew exactly what he was trying to stay out of. He could have just stayed outside the church, Doc. He could have stayed outside and waited for this thing to end and then spoken to people after the service.
He's a bad dude.
He is a bad man. He is a vile man looking for a rebound for his career. Isn't that amazing, by the way, Doc? All these leftists using other people and putting other people in harm's way for their own good. Fry and Walls using people as pawns to distract from their own billion-dollar scandals. And the same thing, Don Lemon, putting people in fear and in panic so that he can get some oxygen into his still life of a career. It's shameful.
In addition, where do these stars, these movie stars, these singers get off giving their own personal and political opinion? We go to their concerts, we listen and buy their records only because of what we like to hear. I don't want to hear Bruce Springsteen telling us his political leftist nonsense. I want real talent. Mm-hmm. When the King was interviewed in the 1970s, Elvis, and a microphone was put in his face, and it was issues like the Vietnam War, which was the biggest topic in the day.
Right.
He would say, "I'm only an entertainer. I don't get involved in politics."
Yep.
Why doesn't Taylor and Gaga and Madonna do the same? Why do they have to give their personal opinion?
Because you know what, man, they don't have an ounce of the talent or integrity or the upbringing that Elvis had. He came from a different generation. I got to jump there, Dr. Anthony. My best to the beautiful Melissa. Thank you, Pally. And when we come back, we'll talk to Bill, Pete, John, Jacqueline, and all y'all. 1-800-848-9222. We'll talk about the Epstein files. We'll talk about the passing of Catherine O'Hara on Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormack.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
I am so done. Right, dudes? This has just been one big fat advert. First of all, it's another chubby loving weekend. Don't be wasting your time with no skinny lovers. You got to get yourself a big fat chubby lover. Cuddle up nice. Just curl up in a roll of fat. 1-800-848-9222. It's a chubby lover weekend. 1-800-848-9222. And, of course, we're talking about Minneapolis, talking about, and like I said, we'll eventually get there, but and again, you guys can call it whatever you want, but, these Epstein files, once again, now, the Trump popped up in the latest dump, and the world went a flutter, and then it kind of went because the Trump references in this new 40 billion pages or whatever of Epstein files were allegations that were made, and correct me if I'm wrong, gang, and then dropped because they just didn't pursue it. I don't think it wasn't even like it was settled. It wasn't settled. They just stopped. They didn't pursue it. They didn't, the accuser or the whistleblower or whatever. I don't even know if it's an accuser. I don't know. But whoever it was that made the allegation eventually didn't show up for an interview, and it just went away. So, sorry. Whereas the former Prince Andrew, Windsor Mountbatten, that's bad. You guys go, if you haven't seen it, go take a look on Google. Prince Andrew's got to be trending on Twitter. Go take a look at the photos. This photo with the redacted face is, in my mind, 1,000 times worse than the Virginia Dufresne photograph. 1,000 billion times worse. Somebody better keep an eye on Andrew over there in the UK. Keep an eye on him because he might pull an Epstein. This guy is done. He is so toast. 1-800-848-9222 and Dr. Anthony Gezerich.
Hey, my man. Who's your biggest fan?
The lovely. Hold on. Wait. I'm having a senior moment. I was going to say Denise, but it's not Denise. Melissa.
You got it.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank God. Thank God. Yes, the lovely Melissa. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
Fine, thank you. We just came back from Tampa, Florida.
Oh, no.
Where it was 38, 39 degrees.
Oof. All right.
The lizards were falling out of the trees.
Oh, that's right. They do that, don't they? That's creepy when that happens. I remember that used to happen. Yeah. So what do you think about, I was looking forward to getting to this, and I'm glad that you're, giving me the pivot to Don Lemon. What's your thoughts on Lemon there, Doc?
Well, he was arrested on January 29th, as you know, in Los Angeles, while covering the Grammy Awards. But what he's involved was, prior to this, on January 18th, he was involved in an incident where he actually invaded a church service at St. Paul, Minnesota, him and other protesters, and it was a conspiracy against the pastor who happened to be also connected to ICE agents. So in either way, the man needs to be tried because everybody deserves a trial, and needs to go to jail because without a doubt, press credentials does not allow you the freedom to actually break up a church service.
Nope.
He conspired. He conspired with other protesters to break up that affair. And children in that church were fearing for their parents' lives.
Yeah. If he could, oh God, I can only imagine the fear rocketing through those worshipers in the middle of all that tumult and fear and unrest in that city. And, and again, if he wanted to play it smart and safe and actually show respect, he could have, it was bad enough that he knew that it was going to go down, and it was bad enough that he was outside getting them all ginned up, ready to go inside. And he kept saying, if you notice his voiceover, he keeps repeating, "Now, I'm not one of the protesters. I'm just here covering this." He kept saying that verbally. I mean, how many times do you have to say that? He knew exactly what he was trying to stay out of. He could have just stayed outside the church, Doc. He could have stayed outside and waited for this thing to end and then spoken to people after the service.
He's a bad dude.
He is a bad man. He is a vile man looking for a rebound for his career. Isn't that amazing, by the way, Doc? All these leftists using other people and putting other people in harm's way for their own good. Fry and Walls using people as pawns to distract from their own billion-dollar scandals. And the same thing, Don Lemon putting people in fear and in panic so that he can get some oxygen into his still life of a career. It's shameful.
In addition, where do these stars, these movie stars, these singers get off giving their own personal and political opinion? We go to their concerts, we listen and buy their records only because of what we like to hear. I don't want to hear Bruce Springsteen telling us his political leftist nonsense. I want real talent. Mm-hmm. When the King was interviewed in the 1970s, Elvis, and a microphone was put in his face, and it was issues like the Vietnam War, which was the biggest topic in the day. Right. He would say, "I'm only an entertainer. I don't get involved in politics." Yep. Why doesn't Taylor and Gaga and Madonna do the same? Why do they have to give their personal opinion? Because you know what, man, they don't have an ounce of the talent or integrity or the upbringing that Elvis had. He came from a different generation. I got to jump there, Dr. Anthony. My best to the beautiful Melissa. Thank you, Pally. And when we come back, we'll talk to Bill, Pete, John, Jacqueline, and all y'all. 1-800-848-9222. We'll talk about the Epstein files. We'll talk about the passing of Catherine O'Hara on Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormack.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning once again. Hour 2 begins for Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormack. It is 7 minutes past the hour, broadcasting live from our Midtown Manhattan studios. It is freezing here, and it's generally cold all across the United States. It's below average pretty much everywhere. I was watching the Los Angeles news earlier in the week, and I mean, it looks like you guys might get back up into the 80s in the valleys this weekend, certainly next week. So you got something to look forward to there. But it's been chilly for everyone. Phoenix is Vegas is like topping out at like 50, which is normal for this time of year. But anyway, we're just freezing here, and they're freezing in Minneapolis, and I'm getting sick and tired of talking about Minneapolis, but Minneapolis is, it's front and center. That and the Epstein files. It's incredible how these news cycles, how the Friday news days they just get rolling and they don't stop. Again, back in the day, it used to be Friday was, at 3:30, 4 o'clock, you'd get an uncomfortable bit of news that would come out, and they would kind of hope that it would sort of wither away over the 3 days until Monday. Now it's like, Trump good news, Trump good news, Trump good news. Although today was, ish. I mean, now look, he made a big showing with his recovery initiative. I think it's the Great American Recovery Initiative. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And that's headed up by RFK, Mr. Maha, a recovering heroin and other types of addict. And Catherine Burgum, former First Lady of North Dakota, who by her own description was a blackout drunk. God bless her. And so we're getting healthy and we're getting into recovery. And the president has personal experience there in his family. So anyway, so we'll talk about that. But for sure, the Epstein thing, 30 million files. I mean, God almighty, how many, is that just pages? Is that what that means? It can't be 30 million individual pieces of information. It's got to be 30 pages, right? I mean, what, quadruple spaced? How much material is there? Good Lord. And if it's that much material, how come like 15, how come 112 people haven't been put in jail? You got 30 million, something. How is anybody walking around? It's nuts. But, Andrew, former Prince Andrew. Whew. Take a look at those photos. He's on the ground. He's on the floor. This is bad. This one's bad. Now, apparently, it's Andrew. It's Prince Andrew kneeling on the floor. Looks like he's in like a living room somewhere. He's kneeling on a floor and he's hovering over a young woman. Oh, looks like a young woman. The face is redacted. And they say, and this is creepy, the FBI and the DOJ said that the female in the photo is conscious. What a creepy thing to have to clarify. Man, if that ain't exactly what the hell we're talking about here. They blacked out the face to protect the victim, or whatever, the person in the photo. And there's other people in the room. There's like a coffee table behind them. And it's like, you see people's feet up on the coffee table, or people are just, chilling out. It's like, it's like they're watching a game or something. And there's Prince Andrew on the floor with his arms over, like he's like propping himself up like he's doing like a push-up or something, right? And he's positioned over a young woman with the face redacted, and they say that she's conscious. Just so you know, for context, that she's not knocked out or doped up or drunk and passed out, whatever. She's conscious. Okay, that's good. Holy goodness gracious. I'm telling you what, gang. This is damning. This is so damning. Forget any interviews with Andrew and forget any sweat on the brow with the BBC and denials and, forget that, look, that picture of him in Virginia Giuffre, the late Virginia Giuffre. You know what? It was so oddly, the composition was so weird. You could see why somebody desperate enough came around to say, that was doctored. That's like a 90s version of a doctored photo. It's not as good as AI, but it's okay. You can almost, this is bad. He already doesn't have a career, but this is career ending. This is it. He's done. Done. Andrew. That's what I'm saying. They got to keep an eye on Prince Andrew. He's going to pull an Epstein. Or he's going to get desperate and he's going to start offering. He's going to offer to flip. Ooh, he's going to offer to flip. You put that picture out there, that's how you get a prince to flip. Zippity-doo-dah. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And let's go to Bill in Brooklyn. Good morning, Bill, in Bay Ridge.
Good morning, TJ. How you doing, my brother?
I'm well, Pally. How are you?
Very good, very good. I was out there. I had to make a pass for the garbage man. I was freezing my cannolis while I was out there. I'll tell you.
Had the cannolis warmed?
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about with this Epstein. What happened to the 4 years when the Democrats had the office? Right. And you didn't hear not one word, nothing about Slick Willie taking those rides on those airplanes, getting his noodle, and all, and Prince Andy Boy Broccoli. You didn't hear one word. Now that Trump is in office, all of a sudden, millions of pages are coming out and this and that and all. It's all a lie. Yep. And if he doesn't get whacked by the Clinton mafia, I don't know.
I'm telling you, Bill, it really, and tonight or last night, Friday night, before I left the house to come down and do the show, I was watching purposefully. Because look, Fox was giving us what you expect Fox to give us and other outlets. So I was I can't really stomach MSNBC. So the best I could do was CNN to watch the other side. And I have not seen a more hopeful line of questioning. Like, to see that Caitlin Collins, who has got such a resting bee face. What a resting bee. You know what I mean? That face of hers. Oh my God. Anyway, she's interviewing, these FBI experts and these legal consultants. And she's like, there's got to be something there. This wouldn't be, in the files if it wasn't. But what's the chances that this could be, that they could find this woman and resuscitate her testimony? Like the most hopeful, wishing, leading type of, questions, just begging for it. And I'm telling you, man, Billy, if they had Trump, like like everybody wants them to have Trump, he never would have been president. They would have dropped this bomb on him and his organization 6 years ago.
Oh, he would have been done. Look at what they did, one lawsuit after the other, New York, Georgia, California, here, there. All these places that were coming at him. If they had one thing that he was on that Epstein plane carrying on, he would have been done.
Trump and a 13-year-old and come on, he would have been Gonzville, man, and Melania would have left him. He'd be a broken man.
Look at that thing with Billy Bush on the bus. He said a locker room joke about some guy, and they tried to fry him on that. Can you imagine?
Great point. They fried him on really nasty, creepy language. And they crucified him on that. Can you imagine? This is such a load, Bill. I agree with you completely. It's so, look, there's other people. And what everybody should be really angry is, everybody should be really angry about the fact that there's one person in jail over this. One person. And it's the woman who herself was probably a victim, right? She was probably under his spell.
Oh yeah, she definitely had something on her. Yeah. She was setting them up with all these underage girls and everything. Yep. She was the madam.
Yep.
She's got more information on all of them. I'm surprised she hasn't got whacked yet.
Right. That's probably, what? It's probably why she's still in prison. She don't want to be let out. She's safer there. She's like Frankie Five Angels.
There you go.
Right?
She's cooling off there on ice, staying in there. She's safe, and once she comes out, she's done.
Right. Do you hear what they were saying about what Epstein in the files? Epstein said was talking about Bill Gates and how Bill Gates had caught STDs from Russian hookers.
Yeah, that's
what the hell?
That's why his wife left him. He's freaky deaky. All of them idiots. They're closet freaks.
It says here, Epstein claimed Bill Gates caught STD from sex with Russian girls, slipped Melinda Gates antibiotics.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, this is nasty.
That they did, and like I said, they're just trying to nail Trump with something, and they have nothing, and they can't let it go. Trump deranged syndrome is bad. It's bad.
It is, Bill. It is, Bill. Thank you, Pally. Thanks for calling up. Always good to hear from you.
Same here, my man.
Bye, Pally. Stay warm. Stay warm. Keep the cannolis warm. All right.
I got the cannolis in the
I'm sure you do. Bye, Bill. Take care. I'm going to take our break on time this hour, so I'm going to do that. When we come back, we got Pete, John, Silas, and Jacqueline all ready to go. We will get right to you when we come back on Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ. Stay right there.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
I go out there, huddle, and I feel like I'm just a girl. It is so cold out there. I feel like a quivering little wilting little girl. It is so painfully cold outside. And you know what, man? Talk about that warm, good feeling of socialism, as opposed to the cold, rugged individualism that Zoran Mamdani wants to eliminate. You know, he refused to send around the cops and the ever-loving social workers to pluck people off the street. And people have been dying. You can't walk from your car to the door in New York without, in a top coat and proper gloves, and in my case, a fantastic fedora when I'm properly dressed. But gloves and with the fur line. Everything that a working person in good shape is going to wear. Hats and gloves and scarves and things and boom. Wrapped up in North Face jackets. And we're running around like, these poor homeless people. these, the classic shopping bag ladies here in Manhattan. They're doomed. They're doomed. And this bleeding heart, quote unquote, this vile pig of a communist tells the cops, no, leave them where they be. They want to be on the street. Don't knock down the encampments. Leave them where they are. It's their right. And so they die. So, yeah, matter of fact, when I was looking at some of the notes from the Mamdani office, they actually gave the locations, or somebody figured out the locations of where they found these dead people. One was, I'd say, within about 4 to 6 blocks of where I sit now in Manhattan, if I was correct on what that address was. So, way to go, Mamdani. Way to go. Great first month. 1-800-848-9222. And we talked to, let's see. We got John waiting and we got Pete right here. Pete, good morning. Welcome to Another Side.
Hi. Maybe all of the riots everywhere are the same traveling getaway circus. Mm-hmm. The greatest show on earth. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a new sucker born every minute.
Yep.
Springsteen could be just one of hundreds of acts in the circus, except that they abuse all of their animals in the circus. They use them and abuse them.
That's a great analogy. That is a great metaphor, Pete.
A new sucker born every minute, and maybe the circus will be coming to the Madison Square Garden area sometime.
Once again, they're going to end without the elephants, but now with liberal white women instead of the trained animals. They're going to have liberal white women doing a balancing act and taking rubber pellets in their nether regions,
40 years now of the traveling getaway circus.
What a shame. What a shame. Pete, you're right, there is a sucker born every minute, and they seem to be born on the left. Isn't it something how between them and the celebrities and everybody else who falls for it, it's just, at what point do you think the penny drops for some people and they figure out they're being used?
It's very educational, though.
It is, buddy. Yep. It is. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for that contribution. I do appreciate it. John in Hell's Kitchen, the one and only. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, TJ.
Hi, pal.
Man.
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. How are you?
Listen, man.
You sound troubled by all this.
Well, the late, great Marvin Gaye said, makes me want to holler, throw up both my hands. And I got to tell you something. I'm in the entertainment industry. Yep. What's left of it?
Yeah.
And for the last 20 years in New York City, everybody knew what was going on with Epstein. Everybody knew what was going on with Weinstein. They used to close down all of the West Village. And the Clintons and the Obamas and all of them their children, everybody, they closed down with Harvey and with Epstein. Ugh. And what's happening now is incrementally, between what just went down in Atlanta, when they start digging into the fact that election was completely stolen.
Yep.
They have the proof now.
Yep.
And when they start digging into the fact, the Epstein situation, I was in situations where I saw this guy. He looked like a dentist. I used to say, that guy looks like a dentist.
Wow.
That guy looks like a dentist. And I won't say where I saw him, but I saw him in hoi polloi gatherings.
Sure.
Surrounded by everyone, and I mean everyone, and everyone up his you-know-what.
Right.
So incrementally, what's happening now is that the man that we have in the White House, who they need to have him bubble wrapped and triple secured, because he is when he first came down that escalator, he said he was going to pull back the carpet and drain the swamp.
Right.
And right now, incrementally, all of it's going to, by the time we get to spring here, where do you see what New York City's going to look like?
Oh, boy.
Because all these people, as far as the Epstein situation, they're all lawyered up.
Right.
Every lawyer in New York City worth their weight, and like white glove, is getting paid right now. They're all lawyered up. The problem, TJ, is that if they tell the truth, Wall Street will crash in a half an hour. They have to be, there's a balancing act that has to take place here. And the thing in Atlanta and the situation with this guy, Don Lemon. Now, if I was all those people in that church, and this is John from Hell's Kitchen telling all the people in Minnesota, lawyer up and sue him civilly for what he did to your children, to your church, to your community, to your belief. And this guy, Don Lemon, is now going to turn this into he's already starting to turn it into a racial issue.
Oh yeah, racial and LGBTQ.
That's right. And the people that don't have any intelligence or are eating the pablum or drinking the Kool-Aid or Netflixed up, subliminally retarded, eating ice cream, listening to whatever they're told to do, looking at their phones and showing up where they're told to be, they're going to get in on this. So it's going to be racial. It's going to be, when they prove, and they have the proof in Atlanta, nobody's even talking about it. Because, like you said, now at any moment, you could break in and say, wow, we just bombed Iran. Because at any moment, that's going to, why aren't all these Hollywood people talking about all the people that are being mowed down like in Iran now, like they were in Tiananmen Square? Or why, if they're so worried about this nurse who kicked a car, spit on them, carrying a gun, and they haven't even unearthed who this guy is. What about the young nurse that was killed?
Laken Riley. Laken Riley.
Right. Say her name, Laken Riley. So, all these Me Too's and this and that. Listen, Jane Fonda, go away. Go away. Shut your mouth. Did you hear it today? They arrested the wrong Don. My husband started CNN. So I don't know, man. I'm a man.
You are troubled. You know what? I hear it in your voice. There's this. You're not acting. I can tell that you are definitely weary. You're tired of this. You're tired of being a Paul Revere on all this stuff.
I am weary of it because listen, I'm a man of faith like you are. The only thing that's going to repair this, as far as I'm concerned, TJ, is the hand of God. It's going to be the hand of God because the devil is at play. And the problem is, and I said this to you before when we spoke, many, many years ago when I was a young boy, Nikita Khrushchev took his shoe off in the United Nations on First Avenue, and he slammed it on the desk, and he said, "We will get you from within." And they have gotten us from within. Because the problem is that I'm 70 years old, and I was on the tail end of the 60s, and I saw it, and I heard it, and I wanted to be a part of it. These people think this is the 60s. This is not the 60s. This is a very different situation, and a lot of people need to be put away for what they did. Now, do we have enough time? It's like watching a carousel. It's like being a kid in a park, watching a carousel that they turned up to 85 miles an hour. You can't get on the horse quick enough. People are falling off of horses, but you want to get on the horse, but you can't get to the horse because you can't get near the carousel. And how much can be done and how much can be achieved where justice. And here's what's going to happen. My prediction. Donald John Trump is going to lock this country down because when the George Floyd situation was happening, he had one card left called the Insurrection Act. Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham talked them out of it.
Right.
They're not going to talk them out of it this time.
No, and he's foreshadowing that, John. He's foreshadowing that because he's starting to use the word insurrection.
Yes,
a whole bunch.
He is.
And
yes, he is. And he's basically saying, I really don't want to.
Right.
I really don't want to.
They're forcing my hand.
And you know what? That will be martial law, tanks in the street, and enough.
Right. Enough.
Because you know what? Thank God it's cold now. Everybody's complaining about the cold. It's called winter.
Right.
It's called winter, man. 4 seasons, winter.
Yep.
And it's mind over matter. If you put your mind over the matter, you'll be sweating.
Right.
Thank God it's cold, because if it wasn't, wait till you see the first couple of spring days here in New York City.
Oh, forget it. They'll be out.
They're gearing up, man.
Yeah, they'll be out there. John, I got to jump, buddy. Love you very much, and I'm grateful for the call, Pally.
All the best, buddy.
Back at you. John is awesome. Let's go to Jacqueline in Brooklyn, line 5. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, TJ.
Hey, you hung in there. God, I love your voice.
Thank you. And I love yours.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I have to just say, I was mesmerized by that call that with John just now.
Yep, he's something else.
He really is. He hit everything right on point. Absolutely, 1,000%. But, you know, I want to add to something that you said earlier in the show.
Please.
You were talking about this Minnesota situation and what's going on, and how we're into day 20-something now.
24.
24, that we are now not talking about what happened with the billions of dollars that those NGOs absconded with. We need to be talking about that, because you know as well as I do, it's going on in New York, it's going on in Illinois, it's going on in California, and it's going on in Washington State. And they need to, and when I say they, I mean the Trump organization needs to follow the money trail. They can follow that money all the way back to Somalia. They need to claw that money back and put it to good use here in the United States, and they need to go after every single NGO and investigate them and do the same with them. Put an end to it, not to be tolerated anymore. Yeah, we have to talk about what's going on in Minnesota. It's the topic of the day. But that doesn't mean that we have to acquiesce to what they want, which is to distract us and to stop talking about the real issue, which is all the billions of dollars that they've absconded with.
Yeah, you are nailing it. You are en fuego, and you are so right. It's absolutely and again, the vile, craven leftists to think, and again, I've been in strategy rooms with elected officials and government people, and I mean, their glee at, I've never worked for anybody that's been happy about, something terrible happening. But what I'm comparing it to is when, there's bad news out there, but hey, look, we're lucky this is the Super Bowl weekend, or hey, look, we got this snowstorm coming. And so that bad tax news, or that bad, what do they call? Oh, like the Moody's ratings, we're having our credit rating knocked down. Well, you know what? We're going to be out there talking about this blizzard, so it's going to get lost in the news, that kind of thing. So, that is how politicians and elected officials think. And so to know, for all intents and purposes, factually, that these guys are benefiting from the stories of people dying on their streets is so sickening. And to know that that's how leftists operate, and that's probably why they encouraged people to get out there in the first place and didn't purposefully, proactively discourage them, Jacqueline, from getting in the faces of these guys, knowing that the odds were in their favor, that something terrible would happen and we would have this to talk about and not their scandal. That just sends shivers up and down my damn spine.
Well, TJ, before I make my last point, I want to first of all thank you for always talking about these very important topics and bringing the issues out into the open. I very rarely get a chance to thank you before the end of my call.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah. And also, what really irritates me and what I have a problem understanding, you had touched on a couple of things. You touched on what had gone on in Atlanta with the election and all of the fraud.
Right.
And what's going on with Don Lemon. I am waiting, and I do not understand why it has not happened yet. We have seen this for more than 8 years under the prior administration, under the first Trump administration. Why has no one yet gone to jail for the crimes that they have committed? What do they call it? I can't even think of the word now. When you go against your country, Benedict Arnold.
Oh, traitor. When they're traitors.
Exactly. For being traitors.
Yep.
Why has no one yet gone to jail?
Right.
People need to go to jail.
Yep.
They need to start with someone, and they need to throw the book at them for the maximum amount of time that the law will permit for the crimes that they have committed, going back to 8 years ago.
Yep.
And keep going. And they have to follow the money trail with all of these insurrectionists all across the country. Again, it started over 8 years ago. It cannot be too difficult to find that money trail and lock those sources up.
Jacqueline for DA. Jacqueline for District Attorney.
Thank you.
Amen. I'm going to run that campaign. Jacqueline, stay warm, all right there, love? And thank you for your kind words, and thank you for calling in. Thank you. You're awesome.
Thanks, TJ.
All right, you got it. Thank you so much. She's great. Oh, I love that. Great call. Great calls. You guys are like phenomenal. This is just top notch, top to bottom, inside and out. Fran called earlier. I want to jump over to Fran because I think Fran called back. Good morning, Fran.
My man, what's up? What does TJ stand for? Talking justice? Listen, you're a superhero. You should be on every night. I'm telling you, are the man.
You can't.
This is some crazy stuff we got going on here. First of all, Don Lemon's a creep. What you said about Bruce Springsteen, saving his worst for or whatever the comment. I want to make a shirt. I mean, that was incredible because it's so true. It is disgusting.
He saved his worst. Yep. Yeah. It's a terrible ham-fisted. It's a bad song. Minneapolis.
No, you have to pull up what you said. I think you said he saved his worst activist song.
Yeah.
For you, for this moment, and it's true. It is horrible. But anyway, I want to talk about two things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this is it. So the three things actually.
Okay.
Number one, with the church with the moron Lemon.
Right.
Okay. That's very important what happens here, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't want people going into mosques, do they?
Right.
I mean, because I live in Nassau County, the safest county in the country, on Long Island, and we got a lot of mosques, and I see they have peace. They have their nice little times. In the summer, they play basketball, have fun. It's really funny with their gowns and all that.
Right.
But you're telling me, Don Lemon, that I can go now in there and talk about Trump and tell them, how do you come over here and not love America? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is very important ruling. He has to go to jail. He has to get some time because this ruling is going to it's going to change the world. And another thing.
Yeah.
The great one, the great scam and the biggest low-life president of all time. How long has it been since the great Obama, the Wizard of Oz? How long has it been since Obama's been in president?
Right.
His first day. Was it 10 years? I don't know.
Something like that. Something like 15 years. 09, 10. It's been 16 years.
16 years. So let's go back 16 years.
Uh-huh.
Let's take all those indoctrinated students that were poisoned, who were in first grade to 12th grade. At the time, the great one was the president, and you got all those protesters now grown up who were taught hate America, white man no good. Catholics no good, police no good.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Just think about what they promote. How can they sit there? You're telling me they can look at a I'm going to cry at one of those moms. What do they call them? The super mom. You know, the moms, Lake and Riley's mom.
Yeah, the angel moms. Angel moms.
Angel mom. I'm sorry. They can take the side of the criminal over those mothers. We have to, and you can't put those mothers in the spotlight because they're destroyed for what happened to them. My mother and father lost my brother to cancer, and I can't imagine if my brother was murdered by someone who shouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. It's the law.
Yeah, I know, buddy.
It's the law.
I know. I hear you, brother. And did you happen to hear, and I wonder if you heard this, or read this thing that, Ben Stiller wrote, let me see, where did he write that? Where is this thing from Ben Stiller? He wrote an open letter. Here it is. I found it. Okay. And, yeah, I'm gonna let you go, Fran, but listen over here. He says, Ben Stiller wrote this, quote, "I love our country, but like so many of us, I'm concerned." Actually, I'm going to read this properly. Here you go. Ready? "I love our country, but like so many of us, I'm concerned about the future of our democracy." Lake and Riley. We've now seen the violent murder of American citizens killed in cold blood, broad daylight by masked ICE agents. Lake and Riley. These were our neighbors. Their lives ended by armed militias entering this is comedian Ben Stiller. Entering our communities with impunity. They were denied due process in the life and dignity in death by an administration who refuted the reality of the world saw, shifting blame to the victims and creating false narratives about their lives in those fateful days. Lake and Riley, Lake and Riley, Lake and Riley, Lake and Riley. Hey, you know what? Everybody in the sound of my voice, all of the Facebook, all of the X family, all of the family over on Twitter, Catherine, all the gang over there, Marianne, Catherine, Patty, all of you guys, do me a favor, go over there and tweet at Ben Stiller, like 5 Lake and Rileys, with one hashtag Lake and Riley. Do a hashtag Lake and Riley, LakenRiley, Lake and Riley. Do a hashtag Lake and Riley at Ben Stiller. And in addition to that hashtag Lake and Riley, do like 5 Lake and Rileys at Ben Stiller. Do that, and we'll all retweet it. All right, Catherine, Marianne, all you guys, all the family, all the Another Side of Midnight family over there on Twitter. Do that. Harass him, and just keep hitting send. Just fill his Twitter reply feed. Actually reply to his letter. Don't just at him. Reply to his open letter. I'll retweet it. I'm going to take a break now. I'm going to retweet that letter, and you guys all jump on that retweet. Okay? With a whole bunch of Lake and Rileys. And any of the other names of those poor girls that were killed by illegal aliens. 1-800-848-9222. We'll come back to everybody on the phones. It's me, TJ, on Another Side of Midnight. It's the 24th day in a row that we're not talking about the Somali scandal in Minneapolis, because you know why? We're talking about the people who died. Because you know why? The leftists in charge wanted them to die. Oy vey. I want to get back to the funny stuff. All right. We'll be right back. 1-800-848-9222.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Gang, good morning. It is 51 minutes past the hour, and we go straight to Silas on line 4. Good morning, Silas. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Yeah, good thing about Mr. Lemon getting arrested.
Yeah.
But the bad thing about it,
yeah,
he's not going to do any time.
No.
The only time he's going to do is if he wants to take a plea of 30 days or something so that he can use that as a badge and say, I am a black gay man who went to jail for my beliefs. He wants to be like Martin Luther King to the left.
Wants to be a First Amendment warrior.
Yeah. His paymasters, who, first of all, they paid him to flip on Trump, and he was lawyered up before he walked into that church.
Mm-hmm.
And his paymasters are going to pay it. So none of his legal fees are going to come out of his pocket.
At all.
But those people who were in that church had better sue him because how many people have been shot up in churches? How many people have been shot up in schools?
Mm.
You don't think those people were fighting for their life going, what the hell is going on?
Right.
They didn't know if someone was walking in there and start shooting.
Right. The trauma, the PTSD I mean, in Minneapolis.
Exactly.
Oh my God, Silas, you know what, man? Thank you for connecting those dots for me. I'm copping to it right here live on the air. Here I am a couple minutes ago talking about that Catholic church, and we're talking about Don Lemon.
Yeah.
And shame on me, but thank goodness for you. I didn't connect those dots. Those people are in a city where people are shot in churches, and here they come in.
Right.
Dude, you nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it.
And do you think Don Lemon, the coward, you think he'd try that in a black church?
Right. Or a mosque?
You think he'd try that in a mosque?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
He knew. And as far as the people paying off, look at E. Jean Carroll. Mm-hmm. They told her, go ahead, say he raped you. And she said, well, what if they find him? What if they find out I'm lying? They said, don't worry.
Right.
If you win the case, you're getting $80 million. If you lose the case, you're going to get the few million that we promised you.
Right.
You notice she never spent a day in jail for lying.
Right.
And,
It's New York City.
And as far as I got to tell you, pal.
Yeah.
TJ McCormack, you're going to go down in history because you have a call-in talk show and you actually allow people to talk. You've got John, you've got Jacqueline, and all. We already know what we know what your politics are.
Mm-hmm.
We want to hear from others. We don't want to be cut off.
Right.
So kudos to you, pal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm genuinely curious myself. So that's, I think
and
that's
then with
why.
the Epstein.
Yeah.
I never seen something so stupid and, taking a talk about building a mountain out of a molehill. First of all, if me and Joe Tacopina could cross-examine these people,
right,
we'd fry them. First of all, the women who went there, the women who are now saying, I want $10 million, I want no one ever asked them, why did you keep going back there?
Right.
Why did you continue working with him then?
Mm-hmm.
You know what he wanted you to do when he asked you to work for him.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's no victim and there's no criminal, so you're saying, oh, it's wrong for a certain tech billionaire to have sex with a young girl.
Right.
Okay. Then who's worse? The pimp who sells the girl or
the John?
or the John.
Yeah.
Why ain't one of these Johns going to jail? And you'll never see it.
Right. No, because again, they're all the sick, rich, and powerful. It's all. Silas, I do got to jump though, but thank you, Pally. Okay. As always, thank you. And I want to make sure that we service everybody. So I'm not gonna bring on a call for the top of the hour because I will end up having to cut you off, and I don't want to do that. You guys been hanging on. So that really, I'm glad that Silas said that. And you know what? Again, maybe it's the fatigue of how the Friday into Saturday works for me, where my brain doesn't always fire on all cylinders. But what the penny dropped finally, where this Don Lemon story is concerned. I mean, Minneapolis is where buildings burn. Minneapolis is where neighborhoods get torched. Minneapolis is where Catholic children are shot in their church pews on the first day of school. It was, what was it, right? It was August or September. It was the first week of school. That's what that mass was for. It was a Friday, wasn't it? Wasn't it a Friday at the end of a school week? But I know it was the first week of school. And those kids were murdered by a trans activist in a Catholic church in Minneapolis. And thank you, Silas, for connecting those dots for me. Don Lemon is part of an insurrection moment, a terrorist moment. People absolutely, with all of that vitriol and fire and brimstone in that city right now, to all of a sudden have their literally sanctuary. How about that sanctuary law? Thank God for the federal law protecting worship in a safe space. Thank God. But Don Lemon instigating with that crew to go in and, yes, absolutely terrorize those Christian families. Oh my God. And he's out there, a holy roller himself. They're picking on a gay black man. I'm their guy. I'm their target. I can take it. They picked the wrong gay black man. Did he say that yet? That's got to be on his script. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ. We'll be right back and we'll talk to everyone on the phones.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
my love. Good morning, gang. Hello there, family. How are you? Yeah. Catherine O'Hara, man. This is bugging me. Just to introduce just a subject for the third hour here. It is the third hour of Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ. Talking to all y'all from a freezing Midtown location here in Manhattan. Freezing cold. John's right though. It is just a state of mind. It is just a state of mind. But no, it's not a state of mind. It's flipping cold out there. Anyway, Catherine O'Hara, that was a gut punch, man. We're gonna wrap up our calls. We're gonna keep talking about the Minneapolis and everything else. And this hour we talk about recovery. So perfect with the president's Great American Recovery Initiative. But just to seed the clouds here, Catherine O'Hara, again, it's a line that I've quoted a number of times from Jerry Lewis. I quote the end line. The setup is kind of a paraphrase, but Jerry Lewis was fond of saying, there are funny people, and there are things that you can teach to people about comedy theory, and timing. You can teach the concept of timing. You can give a clinic in what good comic timing is. And, you can teach people about being funny. There's people who you can teach. There's funny people, and there's people with funny bones that inhabit. The funny inhabits them. They are a carrier for funny. And they just, they live it. Catherine O'Hara had funny bones. A funny woman. Like, amazing. And I go all the way back to the 70s with that first iteration of Second City Television. She was devastatingly funny. Great character named Lola Heatherton. It was a take on Joey Heatherton. Oh, God. She was magnificent. She would leave it all out there. Catherine O'Hara. Nuts. She would just go and be bonkers. And if any comic, she was at one point, she was Gilda Radner's understudy in Second City in Toronto. She was Gilda Radner's understudy for the live performances at their Second City Theater. And Catherine O'Hara, oh my God, just every time I think that I've remembered my favorite Catherine O'Hara character, I remember four more. So for me, for a Catherine O'Hara fan, the mom from Home Alone, Kevin, I mean, that's like the least of it. That was like a nice booking. That was like lovely casting. That's what that was. That was nice casting. Somebody with energy. That was actually an opportunity to see another side of Catherine O'Hara. That's what that film was. And I think she did one other dramatic movie along the way. And then there was the Christopher Guest mockumentaries. She wasn't in Spinal Tap, but she was in all the other brilliant films. Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, Waiting for Guffman. Jesus, goodness, sweet feathery Jesus, Waiting for Guffman. If this is foreign to you guys, go and watch these films. They're all the mockumentary format that Christopher Guest really nailed. And she was magnificent. We'll play a clip in a few minutes. I want to make sure we get to our friends who are waiting here. Let's go to Joaquin on line one. Good morning, Joaquin.
Good morning.
Hi, pal.
Good morning, TJ Maximum.
Oh,
really? Hey, I got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is your fedora a Stetson?
I have a Stetson, and I have a Borsalino, and I have a Tomaz, and it's two dudes. It's two fellas. I'm blanking on the names, but it's like it's a more modern name. Two guys who make not custom hats, but it's sort of a boutique hat firm, and I have one of theirs as well. So yeah.
Yes, the Stetson is a classic, though.
Yes, it is. But yes.
My thumbs up to you. Well, my Stetsons are cowboy hats. But anyway.
Of course it is.
You know something? Yeah. Think about this. I just thought of something before.
All right.
You see, I have nothing in common with people on the left. And I get tired of hearing this thing about both sides. Both sides need to come together. How are we going to come together? But I found an acronym for both sides. You know what it is? BS. Both sides. BS.
Well said.
Bull.
Well said. Yeah, no, you're right, man. BS, absolutely.
And
the whataboutisms are just maddening, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You know something? And also, too, the left wants their people to die, just like any other communist. Like the Chinese, they throw their armies in there, and waves of people, against machine guns or whatever else. Well, the left wants their people to die to perpetrate their cause.
Yep.
And I do not want to see us back down because of this, and. The thing of it is that my thing is that if the local police are not going to support them, if they can't, they're not allowed to. Alex Preddy and Renee Good, they would still be alive if they were arrested the first time around.
Yeah,
okay?
They would be alive if they weren't encouraged to get between law enforcement and their targets. They would be alive if they had simply listened to what they were told to do. They'd be alive. They'd be alive if those cops if those federal agents who were being responsible in issuing the proper orders, they would be alive.
Well, they should have been arrested. I mean, Alex Preddy, the first time around, he assaults a vehicle, and deliberately causes damage to federal property.
Yep.
And then Renee Good, the same thing with her. If her car was towed away and impounded and she was arrested, and people have to pay $500 to get their car out of impound, I'm pretty sure it's going to stop a lot of this, But unfortunately, I guess they really didn't anticipate these kind of problems. But you know what? The left is throwing their people in as cannon fodder to be chewed up and spit out, and to die.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry,
And because also, not only does it make a point, but it provides the massive distraction to do whatever they can to buy time to save the asses and the careers of Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar. And now you're going to have to save the career of, Jacob Fry once we, it comes out and we get this down that, his complicity in all this. This again, the ends justify everything, including dead people.
Now, I want to get to Bruce Springsteen, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is very dangerous because I looked it up, and allegedly that song went to number one. So the left now has an anthem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I'm hoping is that Kid Rock is very talented. So is Nicki Minaj. I'm hoping that he comes up with a scathing slam to chop, Bruce Springsteen down to.
Yep. We need that. We need a good retort. We need a good rallying cry for the conservatives in this country, the people who know that we're on the right side of the issues.
And think about this with illegal immigration. I'm sure that you've heard that's been going around that Mexico wants to reclaim land that they surrendered. I mean, actually, they lost it.
Oh, for ages they've wanted that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so now they're flooding this country with
It's called the I remember this. I remember Rush Limbaugh talking about this, rest his soul. The Reconquistas wanted to come back. I remember this is all when I was living in California. It came up all the time. Go ahead. Sorry. Because, that's what you're talking about.
No, that's all right. No, but they're flooding the country with illegals, and this is the whole thing. They want to try and take back land. Well, you know something? They lost that land, and I'm also getting tired of hearing this whole thing about stolen land. Well, guess what? The history of the world is those who were conquered and those who are doing the conquering.
Yeah.
And so this is what has established all borders around the world. And quite frankly, I want to live in a sovereign nation, not with a bunch of leftists that want to destroy this country and hand it over to somebody else.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it blows my mind, that people have been so brainwashed. But it goes back because, I mentioned it before, Yuri Bezmenov, the Soviet, KGB propaganda defector, he said that this has been going on starting way back, before the 50s even went back. He was in the 80s, and he said this has been going on for decades.
Yep.
And you could see it. In the 1950s, Senator Joe McCarthy, he was 100% on the money about what he was talking about. And so now the left has co-opted all the media and unfortunately and the educational system. So everybody's being brainwashed between school and between what they're watching, they consume in media.
Yep.
And until we start changing these narratives, and people start speaking more forcefully and opposing all these perversions of our history, we're never going to win. But we also have to recognize that the left is out to destroy this country. I have nothing in common with any of these people. I'm so sorry. I hate to even call them my fellow Americans anymore.
Look, they're just barely our fellow Americans, Joaquin. I got to jump, buddy. Thanks as always. They're just barely. And it is a shame. It is a crying shame. There's something wrong with each of them. And you look at those pictures, you look at the pictures. God, look, rest his soul, Alex Pretty. Rest his soul. The guy did have an honorable calling to be a nurse, let alone being a VA nurse. Did honorable work. But you look at the pictures of him. I don't care if you're looking at the original photo of him or the doctored photo, we'll call it the touched up photo. Isn't that fascinating? What they're doing to that photo to fill out his face and do something with the beard. Cause no, he wasn't a particularly attractive. The difference in the little tweaks and the fact that the media is knowingly using the tweaked, enhanced photo of Pretty. Oh my God. But anyway, you look at him and he ain't right. And yes, rest in peace and God Almighty, prayers for her kids. But Renee Good, she and her wife, they're off a tick. I would think they were off a tick if I saw them in line at Target. I would think they were a bit odd if I saw them at a table next to me. Not because they're a gay couple, not because, shut up, not that. But I would think they just based on looking at them. There's something in the eyes, right? There's something in the eyes with so many of these leftists. And I mean, I'm talking about like the old ladies that I know. All right, I got to take a break. I'm about to go down a rabbit hole here. I'll go down that rabbit hole when we come back. And joining me in that rabbit hole will be Kevin from Boston, our very own Pamela, Chris in the Catskills, E. Frank in Astoria, all with me in Another Side of Midnight, down the rabbit hole of leftist eyes, black eyes, like doll's eyes. Another Side of Midnight. We'll be right back.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
I'm going to bring sexy back. It's me, TJ. It's another side of midnight here on the Red Apple Audio Networks, and we are broadcasting to you live from a freezing New York City. And we are at 24 minutes past the hour, talking a whole lot of different stuff, and not the least of which is Minneapolis and all of the garbage coming out of there and all of the obvious BS surrounding every intention of the elected officials there. As we noted at the very top of the show, these guys are being served by their interests are being served by the deaths of these citizens who were encouraged to do what they're doing. And it has delivered, gang. It's delivered 24 days now. 24 days. On February 7th, it'll be a month since we stopped talking about the nearly tens of billions of dollars in fraud with the Somali child care scandal. A scandal that brought down not just an incumbent governor, like in a 3 or 4 to 1 Democrat state, but the incumbent governor who just ran for vice president. He abandoned his reelection. You know how bad, like lock, stock, and barrel, how just drop dead this case has to be for him to say, oh, you know what? I'm not sticking around. Bye. 1-800-848-9222. And the other thing that we haven't really launched into, but it's worth mentioning, is how Trump today launched the Great American Recovery Initiative for Addiction. President Trump, this is, I believe, the official Trump announcement. Oh, no, this is a news story. I don't see the outlet, but it's President Trump established a White House Great American Recovery Initiative, co-chaired by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Catherine Burgum, to treat addiction as a chronic disease, which it is, and unite federal agencies, states, faith groups, and private sectors for prevention, treatment, and recovery support. That's a plan. Now, there's got to be actual action here. It can't just be talking, and it can't just be, Narcan training so heroin overdoses are saved. It can't just be that. There's got to be funding for programs. It's got to be actual getting rid of the stigma. It's got to be actual promotion of 12 steps and any and all forms of recovery. Blow it up. Get it out there. Pay for it. Just get it into the mainstream. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to you know what? This is the Pamela. This is the Pamela. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning. Now, I really don't have to tell this audience because they're they know enough not to listen to the channels or the streaming of the other side, and they listen. They're listening to you and WABC for the most part.
Yes.
However, we have to do whatever we can. Now, we're busy working. We're not being paid by Soros or Neville Roy Singham to protest for $1,500 a week. So we are at a deficit. So we have to do what we can, like you did that tweet with Lake and Riley. Yeah. Whatever we can do, that means we do not stream. We do not go on any of these music apps.
Right.
We listen to any of their music because every time they go ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Here.
And we cannot do this. We have to be organized in our thoughts. Now, Mark Levin had an excellent show tonight, and everybody needs to do their homework and listen to it. It's a little hard to listen to because he read from a professor's book on more of what the technique is that they're doing. But it's well worth a listen.
Wow,
he's
great.
About
Go ahead.
Suicide by false empathy. That's what's going on with our young people. And as Bo Snerdley's lady Di says, she named them awfuls. These are female liberals, affluent white female liberals who are feeling lost and have been indoctrinated and feel guilty.
Right.
And they're what they're doing is virtue signaling and feeling empathy for people who will bring them down and punishment. It's almost like a masochism.
Wow.
They want to be punished. And Mark Levin reads from this book, and it's actually excellent. And he talks about negative speak and positive speak. For example, the Republicans said they're going to check into fraud with Medicaid and, of course, with the Somalians.
Right.
So what do the Democrats come out with? If you notice, it's always dark. It's called negative speak. That's written in their rules.
Yep.
They come out with, the Republicans are going to take money away from the poor.
Right.
See, there's all techniques for this. And I bought a book when all this started, and I can get the title for you and give it to you. It's about what the clergy did in Hungary. First, they had to battle the Nazis. Then, after the Nazis left, the communists took over.
Right, here comes the Soviets.
So the clergy figured it was too late for the elder people. They were a lost cause. So what they did is they secretly taught the young people of Hungary, and wherever they could get them and hide them and teach them. They actually held classes in secret places and taught them what was going on, because they were brainwashed, and they figured it would take 2 to 3 generations to change this. And that's what it did. It took 2 to 3 generations before Hungary rose up. And so this is what's going on in our country. Now, what we can do, even though Soros and this new guy we're hearing about, his name is Neville Roy Singham. He is an expatriate American citizen, so a traitor. He lives in Beijing, and he's paying, they believe, through different 503Cs, these agitators. Okay? And,
yes.
What we have to do, too, with these celebrities, a lot of these celebrities, in my opinion, are being paid, and a lot of people believe that, too.
Sure.
Because a lot of them are old has-beens, and they're old hippies from the 60s.
Right.
And they're coming
like
out
Jane Fonda
and
suddenly pops up with her little video of the day and her inner raging lesbian voice or something like that, some stupid gimmick today. Yeah.
Yeah, and Martin Sheen, and he talks about Trump being false-faced.
Right.
Well, I remember years ago when the movie Badlands came out. Good movie, but a lot of people said he was acculturating James Dean in that movie. So
sure.
I wouldn't make fun of Trump too much. But and then what Trump has to do is Trump does have to go in with tanks, a full insurrection, full martial law. He's making a mistake not going in there. And yes, you Trumpsters don't want to hear it, but I'm a conservative Trumpster too. But he must do something, because this is an insurrection.
Yeah.
And I used to be hard on Lincoln, thinking he committed war crimes. But now I realize and a lot of people have that kind of opinion of Lincoln, what they did, the devastation, what they did to Atlanta with Sherman and Grant.
Right.
And a lot of it could be considered war crimes. But now I really understand. I'm getting it, what Lincoln was up against.
Yeah.
And you know what? He didn't FARO. He didn't F around.
Right. Yeah,
he just
exactly.
did what he had to do. And Trump's got to go in there and stop this.
And Trump should take the leftists at their word. If they have such a problem with insurrections, if they all believe J6 was an insurrection. Well, then you know what? Give them what they want. Go in and crush the insurrections when they happen, whether it's in Minneapolis or Seattle or Chicago or one of these days right here in New York. It's going to happen. It's right around the corner. Thank you, Pamela, as always. 1-800-848-9222. No. It just cannot stand. You've got to literally punch these sharks in the nose, punch these people in the face, make them stop. Virtually, of course. I mean that in a metaphorical sense, of course. I mean, by all means, punch them if they, start jumping on the cops. But, it's again, remember I was thinking before the rabbit hole. that I was going down. That pretty, you're looking at, again, either photo of him. There's something wrong. And I was going to say, even these old ladies I see, there's a couple of libs, couple of real, like, old fashioned, and they're old lefties I see in my neighborhood. And they're gray, and they're mousy, and they're unattractive. And they're, you know, and they're sour. Never upbeat. But it's not a sourness that's based on, like, anything immediate. They're not reacting to something in the moment. They're perpetually sour folk. And there's I'm not saying derangement in the TDS sense, but there is a derangement present in the eyes of these proper leftists. And an incredulity. Do you ever been talking to a leftist and that moment when they realize what side you're on? Do you ever get that almost clownish look on their face? It's like, it's not astonishment or shock. That wouldn't be so remarkable other than the fact that they were shocked to learn something right in front of you. But it's not just a shocked face. It's a weird, like, bewilderment that's sort of married with, like, a goofy countenance. It's a goofy shock. Does that make sense? That's what I see with these people. Almost invariably. I mean, look at Tim Walz. He ain't right. Look at Jane Fonda. She ain't right. Look at Whoopi Goldberg. She ain't right. The rest of those of that crew on The View, MSNBC hosts or whatever they call it now. Look at their eyes. See their body language. See their rage. You don't see much rage on Fox News, right? Isn't that interesting? You don't see a deranged rage at Joe Biden, at Hakeem Jeffries. There's another one. You're talking about eyes. Talk about doll's eyes. Oy vey. Dead eyes. Weirdly dead, his eyes. Weirdly dead, Hakeem Jeffries' eyes. I mean, I don't know if he has a condition. I don't know if I'm making fun of a guy with a problem. I don't know. But he's got dead, sunken, dead eyes. It just seems clear as day that it's an indication of his intellect. But there is just something wrong with these liberals. Something wrong with them. Gonna go to Kevin in Boston. Good morning, Kevin, from all the way in Boston. How are you, pal?
TJ, you're unbelievable. These people who call in and say, why don't they go to jail? Play Sam Cooke's chain gang. Yeah. These people are either naive or they're in on it because the justice system is made up of foreign and domestic communists. Left-wingers don't go to jail because lefty judges will throw the case out or give minimal sentencing like house arrest or time served, and the grand juries will indict on lesser charges. Juries will not convict, plus presidents and governors will pardon murderers and rapists. Now, let me do it. I'm also a comedian in Minnesota. Omar's Bag of Thieves. Don Lemon's GoFundMe is called Lemonade. Judy Collins, both sides. Why are people so stupid and naive?
Yeah, I know, Kev. I know. Thank you so much. 1-800-848-9222. We've got, E. Frank in Astoria. E. Frank, good morning.
Yes, good morning, TJ. First and foremost, I just want to say I hope my classmate from college, retired professor, and also singer Michael Sager, who wrote the song My Body, Your Body from the late 70s, his niece, her dog, ran off this weekend after the pro-life march. Thomas the dog, and hopefully they'll be able to find him.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's
and my classmate Allison. I would just like to say,
Cardinal Dolan.
I'm sorry to also tell you this.
Yeah.
In my church, okay, after 47 years, a man who was a leader of the Crucijo movement in America, finally on December 29, 2025, decided to retire from the church as a deacon. And unfortunately, his son, who was a detective sergeant, almost accidentally shot me dead in front of a church here in Astoria. And if it wasn't for Jim Morrison's real nephew from the Doors, who was an active police officer in the station house, because this detective works in public service area 9, I would not be alive to be telling you this evening.
My goodness gracious.
It was a mistake by his son. Accidental shootings in the NYPD sometimes happen.
Yeah, but he never got to pull the trigger.
They confused me for a church robbery suspect.
Oh wow! How did Jim Morrison's nephew save your life? What happened?
He was patrolling the area, somewhere between Broadway and 34th Avenue. He just coincidentally saw me with the son, the detective sergeant from PSA 9, the son of the Crucijo movement leader. He saw him with his gun drawn to my head in the vest outside the church.
Wow!
Coincidentally, was passing by that street.
Woof! Hey, so tell me, you also wanted to talk about Cardinal Dolan.
Yes, I absolutely. I want to talk about Cardinal Dolan. He's been a very good cardinal for all of us here in New York. He has only oversight over our diocese of Brooklyn. But I believe that Cardinal Dolan basically wanted to serve the church to a point where there would be reform in many other things, leave things, Catholic schooling in the archdiocese in better standing. But unfortunately, Pope Francis I last year died, and they couldn't extend Cardinal Dolan because it's mandatory 75 years old. So now, he is now going to be serving or living under a emeritus status in New York, and he says he loves New York, but I feel that Cardinal Dolan was the only one that was going to be able to move the church forward and into a better standing.
I agree, and he was in fact doing that. And as you know, thank you, E. Frank. As you know, I worked for Cardinal Dolan. Full disclosure, I was his director of communications for Catholic schools, and he was the very best thing about that experience. He was, there were some spectacular people that I worked with, some coworkers that were magnificent human beings, and I'm still in touch with them to this day. But Cardinal Dolan, who they are installing the new Archbishop on February 6th. And if there's any Catholics out there that think this was kind of a rush job and they get the sense that, somebody's got it in for Timothy Michael Cardinal Dolan. They're installing the new guy on February 6th. February 6th is the Cardinal's birthday. You think they're giving him the business? Yep. He's a great man. Cardinal Dolan is still, as Cardinal Archbishop of New York, still at heart, an educator and a parish priest. He is absolutely magnificent. He's a beautiful, beautiful man. Love him to death. Let's jump over to Eddie in Rockland. Good morning, Eddie.
Hey, TJ, good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. Are you not out there in this temperature, are you?
I just got here. It's 2 degrees, so
Oof.
we'll see what happens.
All right. We'll see what happens. Yeah. What you thinking this morning, buddy?
Well, I don't agree with any of this nonsense. These people do seem like they're a little bit, I don't know, deranged.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look at it in their eyes.
Yeah.
And I still have to think to myself, there's a chance that they see the light somewhere because, I feel bad. It's our country needs people who can see the light, see through all this BS that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really heartbreaking because, they have to have a better thing to do with their time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. My God, they have families to raise. They have jobs to do. What is with this obsession with anger and acting out on anger and rage? And it's not like community concern. It's not like, I don't think they love their neighbor as much as they hate Donald Trump. Kavish?
But their neighbor loves them. That's what they don't see.
Yep.
Yep. And the other thing is, this new thing with Trump and Kennedy, it's wonderful.
The recovery initiative, yes.
So, there are all these things that are popping up. They're so good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope for the best. That's all I got to say.
All right, Eddie. Always short and sweet and always impactful. Thank you, buddy. God bless.
God bless.
All right. Eddie always brings it, and he brings it and pop. He sticks and moves. He sticks and moves. Pop, pop, pop. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let me see. Let's, you know what? Let's go to Chris in the Catskills. Chris, good morning. Oh, wait, I gotta hit the button. And there it is. Hello there, Chris in the Catskills.
Hey, good morning, TJ.
Hey.
I snowed out at 21 inches of snow. I was one of those areas that got a lot from the storm.
Yep, I had about 19.
So, maybe I'm going to talk in a different language a little bit. I want to see more balance and logic in this country with how we govern.
Okay.
And I'd like to see people come together. However, I see such polarization in this country right now. I just don't see where this is going to lead to something better. I was watching Fareed Zakaria about a year and a half ago on CNN, and his opening statements of a few minutes will be very informative, and there's a high level of journalism and intellect and research that goes into it. He was discussing about back in the 1950s that people would complain that there was so much cooperation in the federal government, in Congress, that it was like an echo chamber. There was so many conservative Democrats and so many liberal Republicans that it was a period in our country legislatively when more things were accomplished, where it was the birth of the middle class in the aftermath of the World War II, the creation of the Levittown model of suburbia and middle class America. And then he fast forwarded to the 60s where social movements had basically created a division in this country. And if you look at it, John F. Kennedy made the mistake of sending 1,000 troops to Vietnam to help out the French government when they had an imperialistic territory in Vietnam because there was fears that France was going to jump off of NATO membership. And they were fighting the spread of communism in Vietnam, and that created a whole firestorm of protests, and rightfully so, in the sense that we should have been minding our own business here at home. But if you move back to us going to Europe and we were attacked by the Japanese in Pearl Harbor, but it was something that we kind of lulled ourselves into.
Yeah,
with being there with the ships and everything, with Pearl Harbor. one thing I was thinking about, the one thing that really drastically changed the fabric and structure of this country from the involvement in World War II, more than anything, was the vast proliferation of women in the workforce. Because that if World War II didn't happen, it would have taken 2 or 3 generations for that to happen on its own.
That's
so now
interesting.
If we fast forward to today, what's going to come out of this? Okay, so what I hope, myself as like a pragmatist, fiscal conservative Democrat, I hear what everybody is saying. I mean, I used to be the type of guy back 10, 12 years ago where I could have conversations, and even more recently, I could have conversations with socialists and I could have conversations with conservatives and walk away from a door winning a vote, against.
Yeah, those days are over for sure.
Those days are over.
Yeah, no, they are. Hey, Chris, you got to forgive me. I got to jump, but I mean, let's pick this up tomorrow morning.
Mark Cuban would be a logical solution to run for president.
It's an interesting one. That's not the first time you mentioned his name, if I remember correctly, Chris. Hey, you never know. It would be interesting to see if that's who the Democrats put up. 1-800-848-9222. We're going to come back and close things out with the Mike, the Mark, and the Eddie. It is another side of midnight with me, the TJ McCormack. 4:51 here in New York City, 51 minutes past the hour. We'll be right back and close things out for a Saturday morning.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Wrapping it up for a Saturday morning. Down the stretch we come. And let's get over to Mike in South Carolina on line 1. Mike, good morning.
Top of the morning, laddie.
Hey. Is it each?
Keith it each.
What's up, baby?
You know what? Nice show as usual, and
Thank
I did hear from Pennsylvania. I wish him good luck on the karaoke. But TJ,
yes,
you mentioned Joey Heatherton before.
Yes.
Okay. Joey Heatherton lived in Rockville Center with her father. You don't remember? He was a merry mailman. And I'm in my father's supermarket. I'm like 13, and here comes Joey Heatherton, and she says hello to me. I'm like Jackie Gleason in The Honeymoon.
Hamina. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Now I got to jump to this.
Okay.
A good friend of mine from down here. He's from Maryland. Okay. He drives a cab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Two daughters, one granddaughter. He's been divorced. Now he tells me the other day that he wasn't in the best of spirits. He shows me a picture. I got to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
He shows me a picture of his youngest daughter, Taylor, who was 28.
Yeah.
She didn't have a job. She didn't have any direction. And long story short, they found her body
at
28 years old, right outside of Baltimore. And I said, Greg, I don't have words for you. And Greg even invited her to stay with him down here in South Carolina. She did. She went to rehab, but she had no direction, unfortunately. And I said, Greg, please, just don't blame yourself. You did as much as you could. You did as much as you could.
There is so little that we can do. There is so little that we can do. Mike.
Right.
Shoot.
And I'll leave you with this. You were talking about, I can't stand him. Hakeem, with his eyes.
Yep.
He communicates with his fingers and his hands.
Yeah.
And he's got an angry face.
Yep. And a dense brain. He's thick. Yeah.
Yeah. And the eyes, I've always said the eyes are the mirror to the soul, you know? So that's, that's pretty much it.
That's it. But, all right, Mike. Thank you, Pally. We'll talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure. Thank you, buddy. Let's very quickly rip through. Let's get over to Mark in Edison. Real quick. Good morning, Mark. I want to make sure we say hi.
Oh, thanks. Hi, TJ.
Hey.
Can you that event with the mailbox when you had the Charlie Sheen show?
Yes.
That was really unbelievable. That was the greatest, and I just wanted to encourage you because I'm telling you, you got it, and if you could tell other stories, not stories, but events.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about it. Oh my God, it was the greatest. I mean, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was, and I know you got other ones, and I want to hear it.
All right. Definitely.
So
Thank you.
Pour it on whenever you get a chance.
You got it, dude. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Thank you very, very much, Mark in Edison. Thank you,
Anytime.
dude. You're a good man. Thank you, Pally. Thank you. Here we go. We're ripping, Eddie in Babylon. Oh my God. Did I forget? I'm sorry if I hung up on somebody else. Eddie, good morning.
I'm here. Thank you, magnanimous TJ, for helping me close your show with your Robert Shaw comment. Reminded me of me being in Coney Island.
Yes.
When it was a small brewery with two people. And I said, we're going to need a bigger boat. They both looked at me with these steely blue eyes.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, my God. They said, we're Shaw's. It was their uncle.
No.
And they said when he would call from California, he would not say, this is Robert. This is Robert. He would say, bigger boat.
Oh, my God. You actually were in front of two Shaws.
Same eyes as Robert.
Unbelievable.
Come on, Hooper.
Eddie.
Come on, Hooper, hurry up.
I've got to say farewell and adieu.
Love you, TJ.
Love you too. Right back at you, Eddie. Farewell and adieu to you, fair Spanish maiden. Farewell and adieu to you, ladies of Spain. All right. We'll be back tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, here on Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormack. Stay well. I wish you all the luck in the world. God bless.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC.
Demo, not for broadcast. Property of WABC New York.
If you're thinking about changing schools, why wait? At Manhattan University, love those guys. You don't have to start over. With transfer-friendly pathways, your credits count, and you keep moving forward. From day one, you're part of Jasper Nation, preparing for the real world. And with New York City just a train away, opportunity is everywhere. Ready to move forward without missing a step? Visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today. Manhattan University. Don't start over. Move forward.